We are going to hop straight into it. So before you start looking at homes, before you start scrolling through listings, before you even call that agent, there's 3 things you need to be considering before you start. And this is going to be on a more fundamental level. And turn that off. On a more fundamental level. So you don't have to be ready right this second. Just had a conversation with a nice couple just last week. And they're a ways out. And that's okay. This isn't the hard sell. It's all about setting the foundation. Some of the stuff I'm going to say, you're going to be probably thinking, oh, no, duh. Well, if it wasn't common things that we kind of encounter, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, and both of these pieces are going to be down below in the description. They're direct downloads. There's no sign-ups. So download those. That's going to be where you want to start. It's all about setting that foundation. See, you're not moving down the street. You're most likely moving a great distance away. So we want to make sure you're putting that extra time in. Doing the homework, like I said, set the foundation. So this here is the home buyer's roadmap. This is just a general overview of the process from A to Z. And this is a piece that I've been using with my clients for a very long time. And as you see here, just pretty cut and dry. The various steps: deciding, getting pre-approved, console, starting, conditions, learning the market conditions, making your offer, negotiating, repairs, all of that good stuff, finalizing the financing, closing the deal, and moving in. If it were only that easy. But no, this is something that I still to this day use with my buyer folks. Before we hop in too far, you've got access on my channel, living in Wichita, Kansas. You've got access to Wichita and the various suburbs. We're showing you pros and cons, how to get around, what things look like. So you've got that. This live here is more so kind of what to expect when you're ready to take that next step, and some of the tools that we're going to give you that a lot of these other agents, they're not thinking this far ahead. We want to make sure, ideally, we're the ones you call when you're ready. But if not, you're at least putting the best foot forward with your home search. The roadmap here is going to be down below, and the home buyer's rough draft will be down below as well. So, typically, this piece here is given when we're doing the consult, but I've kind of found that if I give a little bit of context and I've given this to that client, that potential client, in advance, with that necessary context, when the time comes to meet one-on-one, we can not focus so much on this, but get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. Make the most of that time together, whether it's in person, it's virtually, so on and so forth. But let me pull that other one up real quick. And this other one here, just pulling up, jumping straight into it. This is the home buyer's rough draft. The link is down below for that as well. This is the homework. The other piece is to let you know what the process looks like from beginning to end. And this piece here, the 3 things you need to know, like I said. Understanding what your motivation is, that motivating factor. This is your why. So why do I want to buy a home? Well, yeah, no duh. I'm looking to move to Kansas. Maybe you're looking to be closer to family, maybe further away. Upsizing, downsizing, maybe this is going to be an investment. Maybe you're looking for a little more stability against renting, a little more freedom. Being able to paint the colors you want, as long as it's not in an HOA, stuff like that. Is it needing to be close to a particular job, or perhaps school, maybe for yourself, maybe for the kiddos? Figure out what that why is. I'm always going to ask. Towards the end of this piece here, there'll be a link where you can download the actual worksheet. And this will be one of those things in there. We want to know what your why is. Why is this important? Why do you want to do this? So we can get a better idea of your situation, because they're not all the same, and that's okay. But what is it? Figure it out. So I always tell people, sit down, go through this with that significant other, that family member, maybe a trusted friend, or maybe it's just you. That's okay. Go through this and get an idea. Like I mentioned just a little bit ago, had a family come in, a nice couple, sat down with them in person, and they already had filled it out. This paints such a more vivid picture. This is helpful for both of us. This gives us both contexts. That second thing you want to be considering is that time frame. And you don't have to be ready right this second. You don't even have to be ready before the end of the year, for that matter. But have an idea. Is it going to be something a little more immediate? We would say maybe now, between now and 3 months from now. Because one thing I need you to keep in mind, when you get pre-approved, those are typically good for about 90 days, 3 months. Your typical real estate transaction, for the most part, is about 30 to 35 days. There's some loans that are a little bit longer, 45 to 60. So, I have folks telling me all the time, 3 months is immediate? It can be. What's your situation look like? We need a little more context. Are there any factors affecting that timeline? We're talking, do you currently rent? Do you currently own? If you own, do you need to sell the current home to get into the next home? That's very important. If you're renting, are you under a lease? Yes or no? When does that end? Are there any other considerations that we need to be thinking about? School, or perhaps job? Are you relocating for work? Is there a particular time that starts? Budgeting. That's number 3. Hey, before we hop into number 3, do us a solid. If you're getting any value, like, comment, subscribe. Drop your questions down below. If you're catching the replay, feel free as well. We're doing this stuff kind of a little bit different than the normal content. We want to be able to provide the value beyond just Wichita, information on Wichita and the surrounding areas. We want to get you as prepared as we can, and this is just a little sliver of it. I've started my own community online. We're calling it the Wichita Homebuyers Blueprint. We've got everything in there. Courses taking you through everything. Where else are you going to watch your potential lender fill out his own mortgage application? We're showing you cost sheets, settlement statements. We sit down, we have a conversation with a home inspector, so on and so forth. So if you're wanting to take that to the next level, it's going to be down below. Plugs aside, we'll hop back into number 3. So, budgeting for the new home. You've got to understand your financial situation. Not everybody's situation is the same. So, what have you got saved for your? I call it your funds to close. This is your down payment. This is your closing cost. Have you saved anything for that? What is the monthly income? What are the current debts? Obviously, I'm a real estate agent. I'm going to stay in my lane. This is just on a very fundamental level. If you're needing that primo advice, contact your qualified financial representative. But do you plan on getting a loan for this home? Are you paying cash for this home? If you're getting a loan, how much are you wanting to put towards the your down payment? What kind of monthly payment fits your budget? If you're currently renting, one thing I tell folks all the time is, a good rule of thumb is, see what you're spending on rent and maybe apply that. Now, one thing I need you to keep in mind is it's all subject to change, and that's okay. This isn't, if it changes, it changes. We're not expecting you to jump in there right this second. It's got to make sense for you and yours at the end of the day. But like I said, this is going to be down below in the description. Let me make sure real quick. Yes, yep, all of that's down there. You got the home buyer's rough draft, which we're kind of showing you right now, the home buyer's roadmap, and I've got the sign up for our home buyer's blueprint. So you might notice that I've kind of been sporadic the last little bit of time, and we've been working on that pretty heavily. But you know, this piece here, you know, beyond the initial 3 items, like I said, that motivating factor, that what is the rough idea for time frame, for budget, you know, all of the other fine print details, defining the dream home, what type of home, if that applies, beds, baths, are you needing acreage, do you want a little more space between you and the neighbor, maybe you want that shop out back, maybe not. Maybe you wanna live in a condo and you want to make sure the grass gets mowed and the snow gets plowed and you're enjoying that hot beverage inside. I mean, everyone's situation is different. All different walks of life, and that's why I do this. I love this. But what does it look like? Beds, baths, square footage. Are there any preferences on location? Do you want it to be a certain time frame or miles away from work? Excuse me. But just outlining what's important, things to think about. A lot of this stuff, like I said, it's probably a no duh, but I can't tell you how many times we've been in the moment with folks, whether it's local, whether it's relocation, and I would have never guessed. I didn't think about that. Okay, well, that's why we're having the conversation now. We try to break it down in a way where we leave no room for error. Let's make no assumptions, because for most of us, this is the largest purchase you're ever going to make. I don't take that lightly. Neither should you. So you're going to get questions from me, and you're probably going to be thinking, did he really just ask that? Yes, I'm not going to sit here and assume. But, you know, what other specifics are you wanting with this house? You want that attached garage, that detached shop, specific features maybe for the kitchen. I want the granite countertops. You know, I want the island. Are there any accessibility needs? What does it look like? Then we circle back to your current living situation. We got to make sure we hammer that home. I promise you, this is all in here for a reason. And I've had these conversations more times than I care to admit when it comes to a lease. Are you going to need to break a lease? Get that lease agreement out. Is this going to cost you anything? Never assume. I would go through that lease before you have that conversation with the landlord, for sure. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It's going to vary. Additional resources. Like I said, right down there where the arrow's at, that is where you're going to get your home buyer's worksheet, and it's asking you these questions. Draft that plan. And it's just like I said, it's a rough draft. If things change, hey, that's okay. But we find more times than not, when you've done the homework, the legwork in advance, and we've kind of had a brief conversation giving you the information you need with the roadmap as well. When it comes time to do this one-on-one, we're already ahead of the game. We can brush over the roadmap if there's any questions, if there's any concerns. We can go through just the initial consultation itself. We want to make sure you are well informed, you are empowered, you've got the clarity you need to make your decision. Like I tell folks all the time, especially when you are looking to relocate, you're not moving down the street, and you're definitely not buying a TV or a car for that matter. This is important, and even more so with relocation. Some other things I'd like you to keep in mind. Are you planning on being here in person? We've got 3 key events that I need you to consider. And the last one, for sure, is the most important. We could do a whole nother video on that, but I'll save you time. When it comes to relocating, will you be in person for the showings? Yes or no? I use Google Meets for those sessions. We can take care of it that way. We can coordinate it in a way where we make time when you have the time to come down, if you want to see these homes in person, if you want to meet in person, and we've done that as well. There's some things that you can't pick up from a virtual meeting. Smells, just things like that. Things that you can't pick up virtually. Or you're in a situation where I had one a couple years back, was coming up from San Antonio, and I didn't meet this gentleman and his wife until closing day. We did everything else virtually, and little things here and there. Oh well, the house is a little bit smaller than it looked like. Well, there are some limitations. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But it all comes down to you. What works for you? Now, the next step, I'm trying not to be long-winded, forgive me, is the home inspection. We can do that in person. We can do that virtually as well. And that all depends on you. You let us know. We can adjust accordingly. Now, the last one, the most important, is the final walkthrough and closing day. For this in particular, we got to make sure and let everybody know in advance, because not all lenders offer a mobile notary or an overnight notary. So we got to let them know. We've got to let the title company know as well. This is a title company state, and they've got to know as soon as possible. This is one of those things that we've got to give everybody advance notice. And but this is one thing that you got to consider when you're relocating versus someone who's local. We've done them all. We've done the mobile notaries, and it's overnighted. We have done a variety of different variations of in-person and virtual, and all virtual. And it just depends on you and your situation. But no two situations are the same, and that's why we have to make it as straightforward and obvious as possible. We can't assume. But some other things, like I try to hammer home to folks, and this is another one, especially when you're dealing with your first-time home buyers, which we do work with a lot of those. I want to make sure that my clients are aware of some of the other things that are going to come into play when you get your offer accepted. And this stuff is almost immediate. We are depositing your earnest money. This is your skin in the game. This is, think of it like a deposit. And this is going to go towards your funds to close. Remember, your closing cost and your down payment. The home inspection. Yeah, it's more than just your general home inspection. You got a number of different options for that as well. If it's rural, there's even more options. You know, termite, radon, sewer scope. I mean, mold testing, and so on. But all of this stuff's happening pretty immediate after the offer is accepted. The appraisal, the lender will reach out for funds on that, and this third party is going to go out and assess value. So, my bad. Yeah, the appraisal. The bank doesn't want to pay more money than it's quote unquote worth. So, this is all stuff, and this is paid in the moment. You're dropping the earnest money off right after. The home inspector is paid typically before or after they've completed the job. The appraisal, after we go under contract. So these are some other items. Obviously, you've got moving cost and stuff like that. So this stuff can add up very, very quickly. And for those that it's their first time, or maybe it's just been a long time, like a refresher never hurts. And that's why I kind of had to take just a brief step back and put this community together. Because with the way everything is and where everything is going, I mean, you've got Netflix, you've got Hulu, you've got entertainment on demand with Walmart, with Amazon. You've got access to goods delivered in a couple days. Your real estate learning should be no different. Whether that's you needing information on a said city, Wichita, or one of the other suburbs, or just the process, how it works here. We've created this place where it's comprehensive. But, excuse me, I'm going on a tangent. Throwing in the next steps, finding the agent, having the console, getting pre-approved. So for here, when you're going to put that offer in, that pre-approval letter is submitted with your offer. So, and it's all there. Like I said, down below in the description, there's no sign up for either one of those. We can show you real quick. I'm trying not to pitch this stuff so heavy, but it's something that we've been working on and I'm super excited about. So, like I said, everything in one place. Courses here, breaking everything down. Getting ready after the closing, breaking down financing, the inspection period, relocating, and your first time home buyer. All kinds of different stuff in here. Like I said, trying not to get too preachy, but this is a big thing, especially if you're relocating. And we want to make sure you have everything. You know what to expect. It's always something different, but you want to watch what it's going to look like filling out a mortgage, what a cost sheet looks like. It's all there. We're offering you clarity. We're offering you the tools, nationwide tools. It's all here. Various parts of town, the major employers, the various suburbs, videos, there's downloadables. Whoop. Where you can be as involved or hands-off as you want. We've got it broke down on the resources before, during, and after the closing. We've got ebooks, checklists, calculators. I could keep going on. maintenance checklist. You've got access to our VIP client program. You've got access to our network of local pros, and the cherry on top, perks, discounts for national companies, because who doesn't like to save money? And we do weekly coffee hours. We're looking at doing some other live events, or live streaming events, excuse me. But just a little long-winded, forgive me. Jump back on over. But grab both of those. And this is really where you need to start. We'll just put a pin in it. This is where you need to start. Set the foundation. Understand what your motivation is. Have a rough idea of budget. Have a rough idea of time frame. You've got the map, so you've got that overview. If worst case scenario, we're not the ones that's going to help you home. You at least know where to start. If you got any questions, like I said, contact information is down below. Call, text, email, DM, however you need to reach out to get the help you need. Morning, noon, early evening, guys, please. I've got your back when relocating to Wichita and the surrounding areas. Drop your questions down below if you're with us in this live, or if you're catching the replay. I think this will do it for now. And unless we got any questions. Any questions? Questions going once. Questions going twice. All right, all right. Well, gang, skip the guesswork. Trust the blueprint. I'll see you in there. Take care, gang.